Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Ted Turner. Success leaves clues, kids. I just named 5 of the greatest names in business in the last 150 years. And they all have one thing in common. They're ball busters. They're hard as nails. Where does that leave you? I still work 50, 60 hours a week. And I haven't had to work in 35 years. You're not willing to do anything. You're not willing to sacrifice anything to be a high-performance person.
I don't want to be like Dad.
No, most people don't.
I want to be liked.
Yeah, well, see, you want to fit in. I'm the only speaker that you're ever going to hear that really, with all his heart, doesn't give a shit. If I leave here you liking me, I did something wrong.
Anyone can sail in smooth waters. Anyone can dance when the music is playing.
So is it just a run in the ring? You tell me.
Remind yourself of what that door opening is going to feel like.
So I have dreams. Compulsions to be legendary, evolving from the imaginary, and it's near and it's real. I can see. In due time we realize that real life is defined by our own eyes. And I have blueprints to the skyline, it's just reality is built methodically, and overnight success you would never guess takes a long time. You have to cut lifelines and navigate landmines, but it's your move on your cue, just decide. So I sat there, thought about it. How long am I gonna go on about it? Put my shoes on, I said so long, and went outside. Right through the field I used to run by, where the rows of sunflowers waist high, but it was different than what I envisioned. There weren't any road signs or guidelines or letters that said it's all just fine. It was just me adjusting as I made my way to the sunrise. Then I paused. On the ground below me was a little door. I knocked slowly, was pretty scared, maybe ill-prepared, but we get one life only. So I opened the hatch, looked down, and it's pitch black, no sound. And if you don't choose any road will do. I've been riding logistical merry-go-rounds and my eyes are wide. Restless soul with scores to settle from years ago. I know that there's more cause I told me so. I'm going down the rabbit hole and there's not a way out. The chips fall, I'm all in. Now my prospects are in lockstep, and each step is a shakedown. I got a coat of armor, sword of steel, call to arms cause the threat's real. And see, crowns are made on battlefields, so your majesty, no, I will never kneel. Time to face fear, right front center. Watch doubts fall like it's November. Got a treasure map in my backpack, it says life's golden. What a pleasure, been round and round and free falling now. Cause there's ghost schools and there's goblins out there. You're leaving us, they call me treasonous. Think that you're dangerous, you must be delirious. Just then the guns fire and the trumpets start and the ground trembles from the steady march. And it looks bad cause their deck's stacked, but my king beats a queen of hearts. They're trying to win in spades, so I set fires with the kind of flames that forge empires. And like a hurricane, but I'm a tad insane. Cat 5, Cheshire. Right around we go, the next episode under the second story. So look out below, collect haters' tears that makes a steady flow. And the greatest fear is I told you so. I know it though, there's no impossible. You can watch your past, you can watch it grow. Be more powerful than you will ever know. I'm going down the rabbit hole. Look, I'm exhausted. Had it all figured out and I lost it. They say that's the cost, but it just feels like a lot. Stop, are you going or not? I miss certainty. Miss the 9 to 5s, knowing exactly where I need to be and why I'm not built for this. Progress moves in slow motion. They're out making money and getting promotions, saying all the right things, pulling all the right levers. While I sit here, write my future self love letters. Who's winning? Is this the end or beginning? Cause I'm starting to feel like reality's slipping. And bank accounts, they aren't very forgiving. And life on edge feels like falling, not living. If effort brings victory, what am I missing? Nothing good comes easy. When we have to, we push through, not knowing completely. You're here because you're made for this next level. Taking these places that most people won't. Start embracing it. Who cares what they do? They're not you. You'll go through more now than you think you're supposed to, but that shows you can cope with the highs and the lows, because you rose to be more. Could've run away, could've avoided the thorns, could've been comfortable. Blood, sweat, and tears, they're expendable. No more pretending, man, build something memorable. Don't drink from their cup or by stories they tell, cause when all their time's up, you'll have dug your own well. You didn't use lifelines, you're topped off for a lifetime, so drop all those one-liners. We'll get them next time. No, this time is your time, and whatever you decide will end up being real life. No.
Getting your business funded is a lengthy process with the banks, and it can take weeks before getting an answer. ProfitFX works with the best in the finance industry to bring you an unrivaled business funding solution for South African businesses. Our funding partners have funded millions in the last year in support of growing your business and our economy. Get in touch with your talk show host to request more information. A trade history of 3 years or more and an annual turnover of 1 million rand or more is required. Terms and conditions apply.
The champ is here! 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 Good afternoon and welcome to Bull Markets Talk Show. This is your host Rian Option, and we're doing another show today of the U.S. elections that are still not certified, but somehow the media is running away with the story that Joe Biden and Harris is to win the elections and blah, blah, blah. And everybody was celebrating over the weekend of the Democrats where Joe Biden was actually winning the elections. Even the market is in the green today, even starting last week already with a very heroic week of the NASDAQ and the Dow Jones just moving up and the dollar is going down because of the victory of or the anticipation of the victory of Joe Biden. And even today, the market actually jumped up also in the green. It looked like the whole world is being cleansed of this miraculous victory of Joe Biden. Actually, in fact, the landslide victory of Joe Biden and Harris. But the result is not certified yet, as Trump is actually filing for papers, because obviously there's something wrong with the elections. Now, very funny, as I stated on my Facebook page, and I see also Donald Trump Jr. was also posting it. I saw a post on Instagram as well. I think it was today or yesterday, where I said 60 million Republicans are surely pissed off. But I myself pissed off, and I'm not even a United States citizen. I myself pissed off with this whole elections that took forever to get the results out, and it's not even confirmed yet. But I myself pissed off, and I'm not even a American. I'm just a concerned person in South Africa about the elections. But I'm pissed off, and so are 60 million of them in the United States. But funny enough, not one single city burned. Not one state was burning. Nothing. Nothing. We are pissed off, yes. But it doesn't mean that you have to go burn down the whole entire fucking city. Or the state. Or to go break down a bus. Or burn down someone's shop. Like, for example, some people burn down the whole bloody place. That is not fair. Yes, I have my grievances, but it doesn't mean I must now also invade your rights. You are celebrating. Look, I'm not happy for you. I'm not going to actually lie. I'm not happy for you. But the thing is, it doesn't mean that I must disrespect you. It doesn't mean that I must go burn down the whole entire city down, or the whole bus, or someone's business that needs to get suffer, and loot, and all of those things. No. There's courts that can handle these things, where you can actually settle your grievances. Like the same here in South Africa. If some group of people are not getting their way, then they protest in the street, burn the whole entire street, and it's not peaceful. Please, it's not peaceful. Burn the whole bloody road down. You can't actually go to the work because someone is putting stones and and burn tires in the road, because now you can't go to work because someone's electricity is not working, or someone didn't receive water, or someone is fighting for a house that is supposed to be free from the government. Now he didn't get that. Now it must be your problem because you can't get to the work. Now you must also participate and understand their grievances. What the fuck had to do with me? It's your problem. I actually need to do my work and go to work and do my stuff, get home to my family. That's it. But why your problem must become now my problem? And now that is the problem that I face today, that we are facing today. When you look at the Trump supporters and when you look at the Joe Biden supporters, that literally burned down the whole entire fucking country down because of some guy that were killed by a black cop. And now the story didn't stop there. The story went into defund the police, defund all the type of shit that they put in their heads. Racism, systematic racism in the workplace and wherever, KKK and all that shit that is actually happening. It's all shit that they plant in their heads. And the Democrats, specifically, it's just like here in South Africa. Every time in front of an election, the racism story will come up because they know precisely people's going to buy into that nonsense. And look, all of a sudden the racism story is now gone. That son of a bitch on CNN that actually were crying crocodile tears because, Joe Biden is a bloody bastard. Now the thing is, that is the whole, I will actually send my grievances out via podcast. I will not now go and fucking burn someone's shop down because what I have a problem. That is not how you resolve your issue. You debate your issue. You have a right to be angry. You have a right to be pissed off at the world. Because honestly, there's blatant robbery there in the United States. But that doesn't mean that you need to break down the whole entire city. It doesn't add up. Why must my grievances interfere with your joy and your family that you're spending now? Now I have to burn down the whole entire street. Now that is the difference, and that's why I put it into description. The problem, it's very clear. Very clear. You must be extremely blind if you don't pick this up. It's very clear that Trump supporters is not the problem. So you have to ask yourself, because there's no city being burned. There's nothing being burned. No business are destroyed. So who is the problem then? Now I can tell you now, Joe Biden and Harris used the oldest trick in the book. And that is to divide and rule. Divide and rule. That is the oldest. It was done by the ANC. It's still been done by the ANC. They know precisely which buttons to pick on. And then you will get the reaction from the group. And they know precisely. They like to play the identity politics. You will never hear that from the conservatives or a capitalist. Never. But you will definitely hear it from a radical left rubbish. Because he knows how to divide a country and at the end rule. And believe me, these games are not, it doesn't last for long. But in the beginning, it pays off. It pays off. Look, I can tell you now. In South Africa, we have a political party known as the EFF. We all were jubilant when they were vigorous in parliament, fighting for the former president Jacob Zuma to resign. We didn't say anything about it. And look today, these bastards create anarchies all over. All over. They go for anything, burn down shops and everything that is wrong, they are there. They are even at a school where they actually protest at a school. Just imagine, at a school. They just protest. Lastly, they were also busy with Clicks, a store where they burned down some of the stores. Because we did nothing in the beginning. It paid off in the beginning. But one thing I can warn you now, America, the Christmas doesn't last long. Because all that grievances, I can tell you now, the Democrats doesn't have policies. they have grievances. They don't have policies. They listen to people's grievances. And they know precisely that your grievances means it can't bloody work, your grievances. And I will explain it, especially one when it comes to inequality. No, I'm poor. It's always a story between the poor and the rich and inequality. Then the inequality gap is so high, we need support and blah, blah, blah. Look, South Africa experimented basically with everything when it comes to solve inequality. And every time they do more experiments, the more the inequality gap, it just grew bigger and bigger and bigger. In America, the same story. Across the world, the same story. And they like to pick on that. There is no solution when it comes to inequality, and especially you can't think of giving giveaways and try to solve inequality. In fact, you can give everybody lotto money. You will still not solve inequality. I will just take a short break and then I'll come back to you.
The champ is here! 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 The champ.
Greatness is not this wonderful, esoteric, elusive, God-like feature that only the special among us will ever taste. You know, it's something that truly exists in all of us. It's very simple. This is what I believe, and I'm willing to die for it. Period.
I came from the bottom, but I'm coming to the top. Like the test of your will, how much faith do you got? Your foot's on the line, will you ever take a shot and score the game? Winning points when the zeros to clock. I've came to find that life's a test, there's no cheating either. Just work and stress, if no money's provided, you're eating less. Bills on the table and pain in your chest. You promise you'll pay for the things that you can't. You want the whole world, but it's burning in your hands. You ask for help, no one hears you in the stands. A crowd full of friends you can never call fam. They love you then, but they don't love you now. Your whole life seems to be crashing down. You never feel safe when there's no one around. So if you feel like giving up, you gotta stand your ground. No one else can ever try to tell you otherwise. So stop trying to be just like them other guys. Fake the haters who live in to see you feeling life. And fuck the coaches who judge it cause of the shape of size. If you ever wanna make it, you gotta show effort and show dedication and crave it like basically nothing else matters. But getting that paper and that education, just take it from me. I ain't doing this shit. The rap with a mouth full of gold teeth. That'll show the whole world that my chain ain't soldiers. Let the world know I'm an OG. No, I do this for my fam, for my city, and for me. Cause honestly, I throw a middle finger up to those who don't. So if you want it, get it, don't ever give up. You got it, you wanna make it, then chase it. No one can stop you, they're gonna hate you, but let them hate you, that's fine. Cause if they stand in your way, then you gotta leave them behind. But if you want it, get it, don't ever give up. You got it, you wanna make it, then chase it. No one can stop you, they're gonna hate you, but let them hate you, that's fine. Cause if they stand in your way, then you gotta leave them behind. People will always try to bring you down, but that's a part of life. Imaginary action when they see your name up in the lights. Ignore the gossip and nonsense you're hearing on the daily. Cause if it gets to your head, then you'll only end up failing. Just be the best that you can. Only those who love you will be there in the end. Stick with those in your defense and leave alone your phony friends. Stay on track, don't fall behind. Either chase your goals or fall in line. Bullshitting's only a waste of your time, so go with your gut and stay on your grind. I wanna wake up the world. Someone's gotta hear my message. This is food for your thought. Take it as easy ingestion. I won't leave you in question, just a lasting impression. I'm trying to speak the truth, so take heed to my lessons. This is honestly the most honest things I've said in a while. In life you'll always be judged, eternal circles of trials. Just keep your head up and never ever fall to denial. You're finally on the clock, meaning your time is now. If you want it, get it, don't ever give up. You got it, you wanna make it, then chase it. No one can stop you, they're gonna hate you, but let them hate you, that's fine. Cause if they stand in your way, then you gotta leave them behind. But if you want it, get it, don't ever give up. You got it, you wanna make it, then chase it. No one can stop you, they're gonna hate you, but let them hate you, that's fine. Cause if they stand in your way, then you gotta leave them behind.
Be the kind of trader who sees the big picture. The world is changing around you. Global threats push gold, the safe haven asset, to higher prices each and every day. Now's your chance to start trading gold. Just go to capex.com and register to get up to a $5,000 bonus on your first deposit. Simply use GOLD5000 as a promo code and you're good to go. Capex.com proudly welcomes you to the next level trading experience. Register now and start taking full advantage of the new gold rush. Terms and conditions apply. Exposure to gold obtained via contracts for difference, which are leveraged products and incur a high level of risk. Capex.com is operated by JME Financial Services, Pty Ltd, an authorized financial services provider.
The champ is here! 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 The champ is here!
Good afternoon and welcome to Bull Market Stock Show. This is your host Rian Opson, and we're doing actually divide and rule, which actually for me personally took place in the United States, especially when you look at the Black Lives Matter story. Because honestly, if you look at Black Lives Matter, I don't know which Black life actually mattered to them. Because yeah, in Africa, kids are dying. I mean, there was an article this weekend with about over 100 kids that were basically starving to death. You don't see them actually talk anything regarding that. You also have the story of Zimbabwe. They don't talk anything about that. But when a white person kill a black cop actually, were killing George Floyd, the whole story went out of order. Because they're more concerned of what white people doing. You know, that is actually envy. And now they use that to actually to overthrow Donald Trump. That I can tell you now. But I can tell you also they didn't win the elections because there's too many stories that goes around that. And the speculation of when election results get delayed, then definitely people will start to speculate. And I think Donald Trump is in his right to actually contest the election results. Excuse me. Because there's definitely something wrong there. But back to the Democrats and divide and rule. In South Africa, I think surely there's a lot of other countries that have the same experience, even the United States itself. But South Africa knows the story when it comes to divide and rule. Look, every time before the elections, the racial story will jump up. Every time before the election story, then the land story jump up. We all know now that the ANC government rules since day one in this country by divide and rule. And what Joe Biden is making, the media actually making him as a saint, angel that will wash away people's grievances. I can tell you now, the Democrats is basically, their policies is based on people's grievances. That's it. They have no way of actually solving the issue in America. Because honestly, there's more than enough data. I think for over 50 years or even 60 years with America's history and the track record of collecting data since the 1920s, if you go back into American history, and if you want to have data, or even some of the data you can actually check there is about 1800s or so. But statistical data, what I actually picked up on 1920s, if you go onwards, it actually looks very good. And you can use that data because it makes sense. Now, America has so much data. And I don't know if there's something wrong with people's brains or what, just to check the data. Because you can have your grievances. But if you check the data out, and then, and for example, if you look at free housing, for example, or public housing in the United States, where they try actually now to one of the grievances of people that they need rent control in those areas. Where the hell? There's enough data to go and check. Did it ever work? It did not work. You can't control rent. But that is what the people are asking. And I will give you a simple reason for that. It just can't work. Although the Democrats is running away with that story. And the problem is what they say, that Donald Trump is living in his own bubble, is that he doesn't listen to this nonsense because there's enough data for him to tap in. Or his advisors, if what the people like to say, Donald Trump is stupid. Even if he's stupid, there's people there that he can employ or people that advise him to say that this stuff doesn't work. But I don't think the guy is stupid, because I know precisely if Donald Trump is stupid, normally stupid people listens to stupid people's conversations, or they inside stupid people's conversations. So I don't think that he's stupid, because we had a President Jacob Zuma, even the current one, that is just so useless. But let's say Jacob Zuma. Look, that guy was an absolute idiot. And obviously, his cabinet is an idiot. His vice is an idiot. Everybody around him was stupid. Maybe one or two people that were right, but obviously they got fired. So normally stupid people walk around with stupid people. There's no way in hell where stupid people will have a group of people that can think. It's a very rare. He will feel uncomfortable in that situation, and he will definitely use the race card, or he will use they discriminate against him, or whatever nonsense that stupid people can concoct in his head. Now, if you rent control in the United States, that is people's grievances, and that story is also in South Africa, where the government must control rent and say that rent must only be, in South Africa, for example, it must be only be 4,000 rand. The government must subsidize whatever the rest. So the landlord can only maybe charge 4,000 rand. Do you really think that any investor who's making profit out of rentals is gonna do reservations on that place? Or in fact, will there be more investors coming to build more houses? Because it's not that the population is standing still. Population increases. Do you really think it's profitable for me to build a place, a block of flats, and let people stay in there, and they pay only 4,000 rand, or I get the other 3,000 rand from the government? And that must be consistent for the next, for the next 8 years or so. Do you really think it's profitable for me to do that? Or even if I want to increase my rent due to demand, I can't because of rent control. Do you really think there will be investors in that area where they need to build block of flats? And the people that are actually renting the place out, do you really think that they're going to do upgrades to that place? No, the answer is no. Because the government wants to tell this guy that he can only increase his prices of 10%, 20%, or whatever the case may be. No one will bloody invest in such rubbish. I don't care how stupid you are, but nobody will invest in investment. So rent control will not work. You can write that rubbish down as a law or as one of your policies. But obviously there is enough data to look where rent control worked nowhere in history. Like the same in South Africa, we have historic RDP housing. You know, they get free house in South Africa. Free. Now, how the hell does that work? Our unemployment rate in South Africa is about 50%. You get a free house. A house needs maintenance. It needs electricity. It needs water. Now, obviously, if you're not working, how the hell are you going to pay for electricity or water? It is impossible. So now they say to the government, listen here, we want free electricity and free water as well. Now, at the end, taxpayers need to cough this money up. That's why we don't have fucking power in South Africa anymore, because there's too many people on the grid who's not paying. So your grievances doesn't make sense. You just create a problem for the whole entire society because of your grievances. You can't solve your grievances. Now it must become the whole country's problem. And that is the policies of the Democrats. It is grievances. And now at the end of the day, that is just one thing. Then they come the story of minimum wages and free healthcare. Where the hell can free healthcare work? It is just not possible. So you want to tell, for example, I go to the doctor for a consultation, I pay for the doctor, I'm done, I'm getting the best of the ability because I'm paying the doctor. Right? Anybody, whether the doctor, whether someone with a small business or whatever, if you pay, you will get the best service. If you come there that you want discount, or you want to pay, the service is 300 rand, you want to pay 150, come let me tell you, you will get shit service, as simple as that. Now that you get shit service, now it's also the whole entire country's problem. That's why I say, the whole story with the Democrats is just based on people's grievances, white privilege, minimum wages, reparations for black people. Where the hell can you start with reparations for black people? Because of what happened in slavery. I don't know any country, maybe Ethiopia, maybe the Middle East, some countries. But slavery happened before the Bible even existed. Asians enslaved Asians. Europeans enslaved Europeans. It was an absolute mess from Rome eras to the barbarians and all of that. So you want to tell me, before ships was invented, they enslaved each other already and sold each other off. So you want to tell me you want to start for reparations. So you're only going to start for black people with reparations. Now what about the white people? It's not that they suffered also. Their ancestors suffered as well. In fact, it was actually worse. The slavery in Europe was 10 times worse what it was in Africa. We come at the last part when it comes to slavery. Yes, slavery was crap. I don't know, obviously. But surely, if I look at history, it was crap. So where the hell you going to start now with reparations? So you need to start in Asia first when it comes to you know what? And that is the policies of the Democrats. Just people's grievances. And then the story of white privilege. Oh my God. And then there was one guy who was making the example. There was the guy, the white person didn't finish school. And the white person didn't finish school and he has a degree, but he needs to work for this white person. And then he says white privilege, all right? So I asked him the question, and this was on Twitter. So I asked him the question, how old is this company? And he said the company is about 13 years. So I said the person that just finished school, for how long is the company? 13 years. Did he run it since the beginning? He said yes. So I replied back and I said to him, then it must be a very good company. You must actually give that school guy that just finished school, you must give him a round of applause for have that company run for about 13 years. Because it's not easy to run a company. So he must have some remarkable skills to actually make a profit out of the business, even with his so-called incapabilities of finishing school or university. And he didn't like what I said. He was absolutely pissed off. Because for someone, regardless of his skin color, for someone to run a company for 13 years, and as he said, he didn't even finish school, you need to give that person a round of applause. And that's in South Africa. Where in South Africa, the business in South Africa, 8 out of 10 of them finished, is gone in the first year. The startups. So for that guy to have a business for 10 years, successful, over 10 years, successfully, and he didn't even finish school, you need to give that guy a bloody bells. So that is what he didn't want to hear, because he thought I would sympathize with him. And that is the whole thing. It's all about people's grievances. So where the hell does the white privilege come in there? There's no white privilege when it gets to business. You need to dig the heels. Believe me, if your product is rubbish, your product is rubbish. As simple as that. You can be white, black, or Indian. Who cares? If you have a shit product, nobody will buy it. It's very simple. So there's no color when it gets to business. There is no such thing as money inequality when it comes to business. If your product is good, people will buy it. If your product is crap or your service is crap, nobody will buy it. As simple as that. And that's what I say. The Democrats understand the story of divide and rule. They are so far left. Believe me, if Joe Biden ran the United States, if he gets to that point of running the presidency, I don't think there's the point of return for United States. I don't think that will work. It's done, because the policies that they have will be a disaster, especially when it comes to minimum wage as well. Nowhere in history look, you can write that policy down. Minimum wage must be imposed. Not a problem. It's very easy to write things down. Will it work? Does it fit in? There's so much data that suggests that minimum wage can't work. It is not possible. But somehow, these politicians just know how to crop up people's grievances and win a bloody elections fraudulently as well. We'll just take a short break and then I'll be back with you.
The champ is here! 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 The champ.
Look, I'm exhausted. Had it all figured out and I lost it. They say that's the cost, but it just feels like a lot. Stop, are you going or not? I miss certainty. Miss the 9 to 5s, knowing exactly where I need to be and why I'm not built for this. Progress moves in slow motion. They're out making money and getting promotions, saying all the right things, pulling all the right levers, while I sit here, write my future self love letters. Who's winning? Is this the end or beginning? 'Cause I'm starting to feel like reality's slipping, and bank accounts, they aren't very forgiving, and life on edge feels like falling, not living. If effort brings victory, what am I missing? Nothing good comes easy. When we have to, we push through, not knowing completely. You're here because you're made for this next level, taking these places that most people won't. Start embracing it. Who cares what they do? They're not you. You'll go through more now than you think you're supposed to, but that shows you can cope with the highs and the lows, because you rose to be more. Could've run away, could've avoided the thorns, could've been comfortable. Blood, sweat, and tears, they're expendable. No more pretending, man, build something memorable. Don't drink from their cup or by stories they tell, because when all their time's up, you'll have dug your own well. You did it. Use lifelines, you're topped off for a lifetime. So drop all those one-liners, we'll get them next time. No, this time is your time, and whatever you decide will end up being real life. No stop signs, just storylines. This whole thing is a misunderstanding, a miscalculation. Jumped and missed the landing. I'm mystified, I can waste so much time. These ovations are strictly imagination, not standing. So much for planning, guess fate left without me. Those failure statistics, yeah, they'll be about me. Was overly optimistic, forgot the logistics. Guess we all learn sometime, don't we? Good is not good enough, no. How long do I stay down before I let go? I buried my pride, took it inside, but never enough. It takes a toll, it gets old getting told you've got miles of road left to go. You're alone with this future unknown. Just go home. Just go home, it's safe there. Yeah, I'll find some embrace there. Look, it's time to admit defeat. A humble retreat, check the box and complete to my core. Intrinsically, it's not for me, I can't do this. I knew this is how it would be. No fame, no fortune, no names on marquees, just running in place every day on repeat. This is the world I want to see, where everything's taken with no guarantees. No. Come on, man, pick your head up. Go back inside, half a life's learning to get up. How can I make you see that you have everything you need, and what you want to be is never out of reach? Fate deceives sometimes, but destiny's calling, so can't let the phone ring. You know there's no all-knowing. Go level up, no letdowns. Let the world in, push fear out. It's self-belief, it starts right now. When hell freezes, you lay down. Until then, it's your town, it's your story, it's your crown. Live in the clouds, feet on the ground. They stand still, you run around, go mesmerize, or they socialize. There's dollar signs to be maximized. If you live it right, regret nothing. Loud applause, the sweetest sound. And this moment won't happen again, and never becomes forever unless you choose to begin. So see greatness in each step, and power and progress. Your future, yeah, that's limitless. It's infinite. Don't forget you want this.
Getting your business funded is a lengthy process with the banks, and it can take weeks before getting an answer. ProfitFX works with the best in the finance industry to bring you an unrivaled business funding solution for South African businesses. Our funding partners have funded millions in the last year in support of growing your business and our economy. Get in touch with your talk show host to request more information. A trade history of 3 years or more and an annual turnover of 1 million rand or more is required. Terms and conditions apply.
The champ is here! 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 The champ is here!
Good afternoon and welcome back to Bull Market Stock Show. This is your host Rian Opson, and we're doing actually the show Divide and Rule, and this is now part of the what I think that is what the Democrats is using, because obviously if you look at the whole thing, the Trump supporters didn't give any problems for police as in yet, and I doubt it will actually happen. Excuse me, because people that build stuff will not burn stuff. That is what I know. So it is just not possible for the Republicans to go on a nutcase and burn down the cities, although people are expecting that. But surely the media will not talk about it. They will rather go on Joe Biden. I'm sure this COVID story will also disappear. But one thing that the Democrats is doing very well, and even in South Africa, I would say the radical left, what they do really well is to get a slogan and run away with it. For example, climate change. Somehow the world needed to be collapsed, was supposed to be finished by 2012 by Al Gore. Until this day, we are still alive. And they are running away with the story, plant this nonsense in people in kids' heads. And they know precisely what to do. They like to play on children. And then this child needs to explain the world about climate change. What does a child know about life? Especially they like to play on with teenagers as well. Portray this picture of a child, of an innocent child that they put on TV. And then obviously everybody will get soft when you see that child talking about climate change, or talking about inequality, or talking about a father is not getting a job or a house, or a child that is sick that can't pay for their health care. Of course you will get soft about it. But on the natural fact is that where's this child parents? Because most of the time is when the daddy run away, and then the child is basically on their own. And that is what Trump is actually pushing through, is that the father and the mother need to be at home, look after their kids and look after their families. But because Trump is not listening to all this nonsense that I just mentioned, defund the police, public housing in city, reparations for black people, white privilege, free healthcare, all this sorts of nonsense, even the story of the healthcare system in the United States, where I actually read about a story about charter schools in the United States, which are actually doing very well, and where the Democrats actually defunding these schools because they are in favor of the unions. And also on top of that, the Democrats is also talking about giving relief to student debt. I mean, seriously? If you take up debt, that's your responsibility. So you're teaching the young adults at a very vulnerable age that if you become irresponsible with debt, someone is just going to bail you out. Is that the America that is coming for the foreseeable future? The same story like in South Africa, free healthcare and free education. But one thing that actually struck me when I was at university and doing economics is the story of the Keynesian model, where I got taught that the President of the United States that time, FDR, was stimulating the economy, and the stimulating is good, and blah, 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 and Keynesian model. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the Keynesian model, which is a very important piece of economic studies at university, and how the central bank functions, and how government spending is an important instrument for the economy. And now the story for me at that time is that it contradicts with the definition of the economics textbook. But when I actually went deeper into this whole entire study of the Keynesian model, then I realized, hey, this is a whole bunch of nonsense. It just can't work. Because when I asked my professor at that particular point in time, but why didn't it work in Japan? It was absolute silence, and he actually was talking utter nonsense that didn't make sense at all, because it was a very simple question. I said, there is been government spending aggressively in Japan, interest rates is fairly low, but the economy is still in a recession since 1990. Now, why didn't the government spending miraculously take out Japan out of a recession? And on top of that, late in years, I discovered also that the FDR policies did not help with the depression of the 1930s. It was actually World War II, because not once did the unemployment rate drop below 10% or double digits in FDR 8-year reign. Was it not for World War II, where they need to produce everything in mass, planes, bullets, all of those things, the unemployment rate would have never actually decreased. The World War actually saved FDR. But somehow, this crap policies of the Keynesian model is all over universities. And universities is the most toxic thing. And if you look at who voted for Trump, lawyers, professors, and so you can just actually check how much toxins are actually produced at universities. Because these professors, to which I was actually now questioning, they are the ones who's lecturing this minimum wages, affirmative action, that just doesn't work. It's nothing to do with race. It's what works and what doesn't. And if you want to see something work, you just go back in history. And then you go check the policies there. Did it work? And when you found out that most of these things that these people are talking about was being tested before, and it did not most, all of them. This is not something new. Minimum wages, affirmative action, free healthcare, all of those things, it doesn't work. So what actually happens is the Democrats is just pushing people's narratives or people's grievances and make it their policies. Now it looks someone is listening to them. Of course I would listen to you, you dumb bastard. Because I know you can't think. I know you don't like to do research. And I will talk in defense of you. And if anyone talks bad against you, we will create war. That is exactly what happened with the Black Lives Matter story. They came up with all this nonsense when it comes to systematically racism. You know what? I don't even understand what is racism anymore, because the racism just gets so many words. So they add all these things in. And now everybody's protesting. The streets get burned because it's people's grievances. They're playing on people's emotions. Believe me, it can't work. Whether Joe Biden is there or whether Jesus Christ is actually sitting on that seat, it can't work. It is just not possible. It's far from logic. But because someone is listening to you, Donald Trump will not pay attention to this nonsense policies because it can't work. There's more than enough evidence to look at it. But because someone is pretending he's listening to you and I know he knows that it won't work. But because he knows that he will get your vote, he will definitely talk in favor for you. Believe me, that the protesting will not stop in the United States. It will even get worse. Rather, let someone with a straight face tell you, which is Donald Trump, they will tell you, listen here, these things will not work. He actually said when it comes to the universities scrapping off their debt, no. It's a very simple answer. No. But because they were angry with it, it becoming overnight it was a protest. Why would someone listen to your nonsense? Why don't you do research on it? And then you will find out that the policies was tested before and it didn't work. That is the problem with the radical left. And if it doesn't work, the streets needs to get burned. Exactly in South Africa. Where the hell will we get the money to build houses? Where the hell will we get the money to supply endless electricity for free for people? Come on, man. Can't you think? But obviously, if someone just listens to your grievances, then that one wins the elections. The grievances will not get solved because history said, or history is there proving with evidence that it's just not possible. Free healthcare, come on, how the hell can that work? I actually prefer if doctors can get a high salary. I mean, if I lay there with coming out of an accident, I want the best doctors to be around me to operate or whatever they need to do. As long as they get paid correctly, they will do their job. But now these people need to wait for the government to pay them. I mean, come on. How can you think like that? I just don't understand. But honestly, people are voting for someone that pretend to listen to them. Nobody will tell you the truth in your face by saying these policies can't work. And that's exactly what Donald Trump did. And that's why the Democrats is literally caused a divide in the United States. And now all of a sudden, they are the fake rulers. That is it from my side. I just needed to get that nonsense out of the way. Because honestly, whoever voted for these guys is surely brain dead. That's it from my side. Have a lovely Tuesday. Bye-bye.
The champ is here! The champ is here!